It is, and just now we know it to be a problem in Houston. I just want to show you, in my hand, I've got sugar. But this small amount of sugar is about the size of the amount of carfentanil that Houston police officers confiscated on June 7th. Forensic experts say this is enough for 4,000 lethal doses, which means you could accidentally or unknowingly inhale just 1 grain of this, and it would be deadly. Using fireworks in most cities across Texas is illegal, and even the people selling it can tell you why. Here's some tips to follow. Light 1 firework at a time and then quickly move away. Stay away from vehicles and buildings. Keep a bucket of water nearby. In case there's a dud, you're going to want to soak those. And have a fire extinguisher just in case. Reporting from Tomball, I'm Haley Hernandez, KPRC Channel 2 News. That's right, Bill, because you know what? Right now, this is the gold standard for transporting organs. It's as simple as this with all of the medical advances that we have until a new machine came around. It's in clinical trial now, and doctors say it works like the human body until it gets to the recipient. Now, crews just wrapped up work a little over a month ago on a project to replenish the sand on the beach. That was to replace more than 1 million cubic yards of sand from 12th Street to 61st Street. That was a $19.5 million project. So, of course, when they do these projects, the commissioners do anticipate some amount of erosion to happen. I'm sure everyone was hopeful it wouldn't happen this soon, but this is another reminder that this tropical storm is hitting very early this hurricane season. Reporting live in Galveston, where I want you to take another look at a surfer that's trying to take on these waves. Haley Hernandez, KPRC, Channel 2 News.
Great waves.
This morning, we heard from Zach Barth on the Today Show and learned that when he was shot, Congress members rushed to his aid using a belt as a tourniquet. So I came here to one of Houston's level 1 trauma hospitals to find out how that may have helped save his life. Guys, so in the light of day, you can see a lot, and take a look right up there. They are trying to remove the windows on that top floor right now. That's because I was actually inside of that office. There were 2 bullets that went flying through that window, and you can see down here on the ground level, police have had these barricades up all night long because they were afraid that window was going to come crashing down on innocent people. Like I said, one person who works up there in that staffing agency let me inside to see behind those bullets. That's right, Owen. So this tool right here, a plastic stick with prongs, makes promises to reduce inflammation, massage joints, even blast cellulite. But some women are coming forward saying it's leaving them bruised. Lindsay Holloway at Lumiere Spa says she's getting dozens of clients each week asking for the Fascia Blaster treatment.
They see so many more benefits, pain reduction, migraines. Some say they sleep better.
The process skyrocketed to fame online as Ashley Black began marketing the tool as a way to blast cellulite for under $100 at home. Bart Jamison says what started as a sales tool escalated to something he really believes in.
Because it's curing all sorts of other ailments, such as any sort of joint pain, hypermobilities, any sort of connective tissue disease, arthritis.
But the kneading is what some women are claiming is causing bruises, and they're too ashamed to show their face. But I've received dozens of complaints that the device left them with marks like these.
I think it's not a completely benign tool.
Dr. Neil Badlani with the Orthopedic Sports Clinic regularly prescribes patients with physical therapy, where he even has a fascia blaster. But he says patients should be cautious using it without professional supervision.
There is definitely the possibility of serious injury if you push too hard, too long in a certain area. Injuries to the vascular system, blood clots, excessive bleeding if somebody's on blood thinners. So those are all dangers we have to be aware of with something like this. I think the chances of those happening are very, very small, but patients should be aware of those potential dangers.
Dangers, he says, are not as likely as discomfort. We showed him photos of the alleged damage.
For the most part, these things will heal, just like if you get punched in the arm and you get a bad bruise.
The company says the device is perfectly safe and bruising is part of the healing process.
All it's showing is that blood flow is coming to the superficial area that wasn't getting blood flow.
Lindsay says the key is to use it gently.
I don't do it very hard. I go layer by layer.
And Dr. Badlani says there are a lot of things you can use for fascial treatments, which is similar to deep tissue massage, including techniques like using a foam roller. But he said for long-term treatments of pain and trying to get rid of cellulite, he recommends exercise and stretching. Someone brought it to my attention that there is a group on Facebook dedicated to complaints about the Fascia Blaster. There are also groups dedicated to people with very positive experiences. Yeah, you know what, for the Islanders, this was not a big storm at all. I'm at 61st Street, and I can tell you that as far as I can see, this is the only place that has a lifeguard, and right now they've got the red flags up. This means heavy surf and dangerous currents, and just ironically, that's exactly where the surfers have come out. Some ponding on roads was gone by daybreak, and right about then, some adventurous types made their way to the coast, and after sizing up Cindy, they chose to flirt with danger.
For surfing, it was great, especially Galveston in the summertime. It's hard to find waves like this.
That's not to say the water isn't dangerous. With high winds, waves, and without lifeguards, there's nobody who would recommend swimming, even Laura Hartlieb. But she says technically she wasn't swimming.
If you're out there swimming, I'd be a little careful. The undertow's a little bit strong, so families, if you come down here, be a little cautious. But for surfing, it was a great morning.
At least 5 surfers caught the waves. Some playing hooky didn't want their bosses to see them on TV, while Laura feels most cautious of another kind of authority and pleads her case.
When you first get in, there's some undertow. If you're up on the board, you don't feel it, but if you're out there surfing, absolutely. So it's definitely not a good day to swim. And Mom, if you're watching, I actually went to work and I'm not out here surfing this morning.
So as I was saying to people in Galveston, this is not really a big storm. You see people are pitching their tent and coming out to the beach already. This is probably not one that people are going to remember in the long term, unless, of course, it was a successful surf. Reporting live in Galveston, I'm Haley Hernandez, KPRC, Channel 2 News.
All right, hopefully no bosses watching.
We hear every year.
The windows were up and the doors were locked.
Already this summer, 2 Texas toddlers died when authorities say their mother intentionally left them in a car for 15 hours.
Somebody in the house that could even hear the kids crying and told her to bring them in the house, and she did.
But sometimes hot car deaths are a tragic accident. On this day last year, a child died after getting trapped inside a hot car while playing.
When an adult might have jumped out of the car, a child might not know to do that, or might not be able to.
The law in Texas says intentionally leaving a child under 7 unattended in a vehicle longer than 5 minutes is a misdemeanor. If the child is injured, then it's child endangerment, a felony. But if you see a child in distress, what do you do? I went to Houston Junk Car Buyers to find out.
We're at 101 so far.
She says if you see a child in distress, break in through the window corners, not the middle.
If you break it right here, your hand could go through the glass, which is going to hurt you really badly.
First, we try the most available tool. This Ecom Crest hammer is sold at many hardware stores, marketed as a way to save kids and pets in hot cars. 3 years ago, Ecom Crest posted this to YouTube.
Now we hope you will never need to use one.
And I'm glad I didn't have to either. With as much force as I could give in the spot I was instructed, nothing happened. And the company is nowhere to be found for an explanation. We tried this hammer-like device. All it does is blunt the tip. Now we're going to try the window punch. That worked. The window punch successfully broke multiple windows, with a catch. You had to be right at the very tip. Any closer to the middle and it just wasn't breaking. With the most car deaths typically happening in July and August, first responders hope knowing how to use this device can empower you to prevent more tragedies.
We just want everybody to understand it can happen to you. And we don't want to see it happen to anyone ever again.
The tool I used is called Rescue Me. Thanks to the Jacinto Fire Department for this one. It can also be used if you're stuck in floodwaters and windows do not roll down. Details on where you can buy ones like this on our website, click2houston.com. You'll find it under the health section. Haley Hernandez, KPRC, Channel 2 News.
Great. Talk to the surgeon, and she's here to explain. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. So a study of 545 men found the ones with salt and pepper gray hair had a higher risk of coronary artery disease than counterparts without the gray. So I took the research to a cardiothoracic surgeon at Memorial Hermann Memorial City to find out more. A study in Europe links gray hair with an increased risk of heart disease in men, despite age or other risk factors.
I don't think so. It's a myth, probably.
I've always had gray hair when I was young, so I don't think so.
Our young silver fox, Justin Stapleton, agrees with them.
And I've had most of this since I was probably 21, 22. So hopefully we're bucking the trend, that that's the case. Otherwise, it's been nice knowing you, Haley.
The study says the hardening and narrowing of arteries and the graying of hair both rely on a similar biological process. So its researchers claim graying hair, even premature, could be a warning sign of how old your body thinks it is. It's an interesting theory, but cardiothoracic surgeon Dr. Randall Wolf is not buying it.
Because everybody eventually gets gray hair, but not everybody has coronary disease.
Instead, he said the most common risk factor that most people do not know is family history.
Well, I think it's two factors. One is the genetics may be there. Then those people better watch their weight, watch their diet, get adequate exercise. Stress is another one.
And Dr. Wolf says obesity is the worst contributing factor. So the takeaway here is he encourages everyone to disclose family history to your doctor. He said an annual exam is also a lot better than just worrying about gray hair.